Today let us see the overview of FSCM and what are the functionalities and what are the submodules included in FSCM. As I know about FSCM, initially I was thinking like dispute management, collections management, credit management. Only these are the modules I was knowing, all these three combinedly is included in FSCM. But when I was searching about FSCM, then I came to know that there are many other modules which are part of FSCM. So I just want to share my knowledge on what I learned about the functionalities or about the submodules in FSCM. Let us move on and check what actually is the FSCM and what are the submodules included in this FSCM. First of all, we will see what actually is FSCM. FSCM, as we see in the first slide, it is Financial Supply Chain Management. So, what actually is FSCM? So, just SCM, we know that it is a supply chain management. So, supply chain means starting from manufacturer and reaching to customer. What actually is the supply chain? So, the total process is nothing but supply chain management. So, what is financial supply chain management? So, what are all the financial aspects included in this supply chain management is nothing but financial supply chain management. So, if we see the flow of goods, the physical supply chain. So, first let us see the definition of FSCM. SAP FSCM is a group of applications. So we will see what are all the applications included. As I just mentioned few of them, like dispute management, credit management, collections management. There are 7 to 8 submodules which are totally included in FSCM. It is a group of applications which helps in optimizing the process. What process? It is order to cash cycle of an organization. Here order means sales order. Sales order to, like, what are all the other steps like delivery, billing, and how we are invoicing the customer and how we are getting the payment from the customer. All these things. So what are all the problems will incur in this process and how those are handled in SAP. So everything will be included in this process. So it is a FSCM is a group of applications that can optimizes process of order to cash cycle of an organization. So that what actually it defines. So it's a group of applications which helps in optimizing the process of order to cash cycle. So let us now see what is the physical supply chain. That's flow of goods. Just as I discussed it just now. So we have a manufacturer. So first, if a manufacturing company needs to manufacture some product, first it needs to get some raw material from the supplier. So that is nothing but vendor. For this company, supplier will be the vendor and consumer will be the customer, and retailer or distributor or consumer will be their customers. So how will be the flow of goods happen? It will be like, so a manufacturing company buys raw materials from the supplier and sell the goods to retailer or distributor or to consumer. So in this total process, how the supply chain is working. So every company will have vendor and every company will have customer. So how this is the chain related to goods. So vendor supplies the goods to manufacturer, manufacturer produces and again sells that goods to the customer. So how the flow of funds will work? So it is a financial supply chain. How the financial supply chain is linked? It is this same manner, like the manufacturer sells the goods to the customer and the customer pays the money so to whoever it is, like who for this customer, whoever is the vendor, that customer pays the money to that vendor. If the customer purchases the goods from retailer or from manufacturer, so the customer pays money to these people. So financial supply chain. So manufacturer in turn pays the money to supplier. So how the whole process will happen? How the if there is any problem with the invoice amount, or if there is any problem with the goods, or if the customer wants any discount, or if there is any disputes with the customers, or if there is any bad debts going to happen. So all these things, so whether the customer has the required credit limit or not, so if the customer is not paying the amount on time, what is the process which we need to follow to collect the money from the customer? There are many different scenarios, like even in our daily basis we can see all these things. The same thing happens even with companies. So how they will tackle all this process or all these problems in SAP? That is actually the thing they have developed in SAP. So just to have an idea, biller direct and dispute managements are linked with enterprise portal. They have an external system, a portal. They were just linked to that. Just to have an idea, I have mentioned this point here. And even there are foreign exchange rates required to some of the processes. So those foreign exchange rates are loaded into SAP through Bloomberg, Reuters. There are different outsourcing companies which provide foreign exchange rates to SAP. So they will get the file from these external sources and they will load into SAP, and the foreign exchange rates will be updated, and the foreign transactions will be calculated based on this foreign exchange rates. So now let us see what are the submodules in FSCM. So there is credit management, dispute management, collections management, SAP biller direct, treasury and risk management, SAP cash and liquidity management, in-house cash, SAP bank communication. So initially when I was knowing FSCM, I thought I only these three modules: credit management, dispute management, collections management. I was knowing about biller direct, but I never thought it is a part of FSCM. I just thought it is an functionality, just as functionality. Biller direct is a functionality. Then when I was checking, it seems it is one of the submodule in FSCM. I heard that we can do separate certifications for SAP treasury and risk management, in-house cash, SAP bank communication management. I was not sure like other things, but there are different certifications for FSCM. FSCM itself, for FSCM itself, there is no single certification. There are different, means like multiple certifications for different modules. So let us move on and check what are all the functionalities regarding each and every application or submodule or function, whatever it might be. So it is credit management. So let us move on and see what is actually credit management. So in our first video we discussed about credit control area, which helps in setting the credit limits for the customer. So even the credit management helps in setting the credit limit for the customer. Okay, if for example if we take the credit limit for the customer is 1 lakh. If he already reaches his credit limit of 80,000, then system will issue a warning. So he is already near to his credit limit. So this credit management mainly talks about the credit limits for the customer. So as I was discussing the example, if the credit limit is means like exhausting, so it will warn the system like if we are issuing further orders to this customer, please be aware that this customer already reached 80% of the credit limit, and it gives a system warning message, so that we will be very careful and we will analyze this customer whether it is a trustworthy customer or and we will check the actually the record means like credit record of that particular customer, whether we can issue the credit or we have to stop as of now and need to collect the already credit means like already the outstanding amount from the customer. So many things can be analyzed with these tools. So let us see few functionalities which can be done with this credit management. So credit management takes all information. So whatever the information means like whatever the information is available, and automates credit scoring. So it means like okay, what are all the credits available? So if a customer have different credits, so it will take the information whether this customer is paying promptly or missing any payments, or whether this customer is paying all the payments before the due date or paying only after the due date, or prompt in paying the outstanding amounts. So there will be different criterias. It will take all the information and it will provide a credit score to that particular customer. We have heard about some credit score from the bank, CRISIL or some score. I am not sure. It should be CRISIL score or some score like customers score. If that score is good, then only the customer get the loans from the banks. So there is some kind of information which available for banks. So and automates credit scoring and credit decisions and calculations of credit limits through credit rules. So what actually it does, credit management takes all information and automates credit scoring. Based on the scoring, they will decide credit decisions and calculations of credit limits. So they will calculate the credit limit. Okay, already this customer availed 80%. So there is 20% of the limit through credit rules. There will be some credit rules. So they will arrive to some decision whether this customer can be further eligible for any credit purchases or not. So credit score can be updated automatically or manually for each customer. So the credit score is automatically or manually will get updated. So if the credits okay, how this, if it is prompt payment, he is paying very promptly, it will get updated with good score. If he is what is that, he failed in paying one of the payment on time, so for that payment the credit score will be little bit less. So like that it will calculate credit score for each and every transaction. So for each customer, SAP Credit Management allows to attach info such as bank record and credit reports. It helps automate the credit decision making. So there are some criteria which helps in finding out the credit score and credit decision, means like for that particular customer. So even credit management adds a new functionality to integrate XML data from rating agencies. Even if we see in US, we have rating agencies. So for example, if we take our scenario, when we came recently to US, we applied for one apartment for rent. So when we applied, they checked our credit history. So as we are new to this place, we don't have any credit history yet. So they rejected our application. So we have applied to other apartment. They, even though they might have checked, but they have provided us the apartment. So slowly the credit history will build up. So how? So based on our credit ratings. So we will have a credit card and they will see how promptly we are paying the credits. So based on that, our credit history will build up. So by checking that, even if we apply for any loans or for any credits, this score is very much important. Though through credit manager cockpit in the portal. So if we have a real-time experience, we many people might be knowing portal, enterprise portal. This is linked with SAP. Credit data is collected from different sources. So we will be getting credit data from outside SAP and compiled into customer credit fact sheet. So there are many things. So in order to find whether the customer has potential to pay or very prompt in paying all the dues, that's how the credit history will build up. So identify risk customer and that through a credit scoring. So we will find the risk of that particular customer. So as we discussed, if the risk for that particular customer is high, we stop. giving credits to him, to that customer. Follow up of customer payments. So if we see that he is reaching the credit limit and we have seen all the credits which he has taken before, even after due date he is not paying. So in that case we will follow up with the customers, like sending the dunning letters, reminding him, and giving follow up calls. And there are many processes which will be followed. Segmentation of customers by credit risk. So we will segment the customers, means like group the customers, right? Okay, these customers are in high risk, so we stop giving credit to these customers. These are in medium risk. Okay, till this amount, these customers are okay, so these are low risk customers, so we will be confident enough to give credit to these customers. So this is how credit management helps to take decisions regarding customers, whether we can give credit, whether we can provide credit to those customers or not. Now let us move on to other module, SAP Biller Direct, or it's a part of Biller Direct e-invoicing. So actually I worked on e-invoicing with Ariba. So let us see what is SAP Biller Direct. Even when I was working, I heard about Biller Direct. I thought that might be a functionality. Then now when I was researching about FSCM, then I found that it is a submodule in FSCM. Okay, let us see what actually the Biller Direct is. So with this Biller Direct, that means in this application, it helps in issuing electronic bills. Means like it can provide e-invoice. They can see their invoice directly through SAP, and even they can do the payments through the system with credit card or with direct debit. So SAP Biller Direct is a web-based engine for invoicing. It reduces the time and cost of sending invoices to the customer. So it means normally when the customer purchases some product, vendors will be sending their invoices through normal physical mail. So that incurs some expenses. So nowadays most of the things are happening electronically. So they are providing the invoice through mails, so which helps in reducing the costs, and also it gives vendors an online vision of their invoices. Even they can, even if they want to have the list of invoices, even the vendors can get it in the SAP system. So customer can directly make payment for open item invoices. So nowadays we know that many of the payments are happening electronically. No one is visiting physically or in person to the offices to pay the bills. But this functionality is not delivered by default. In SAP it is not delivered by default, but it requires some configuration. So in order to use SAP Billing Direct, a standard internet browser is enough for vendors to access the portal. So there is an enterprise portal which works web based. So it was linked to SAP and to the portal. So to use SAP Builder Direct, this standard portal is enough. It can provide access via SAP Enterprise portal or any other portal using single sign-on tickets. So basically Builder Direct works on Builder Direct is a web-based application. From the technical side, SAP Builder Direct can be integrated into the supplier portal or run a standalone application based on this. I think J2E is Java, I guess. So it works and it can be integrated with supplier portal. So this helps in reducing work for AP department of vendor queries. So how it reduces the work for AP department? There is no need to print the invoices manually and again need to send the invoices to the customers. So little bit of work is reduced here, and even when the customers are paying directly through online, so no need to again do the manual work. So there is lot of manual work reduced with this SAP applications. So somewhere I have read it is 50% of the work was 50% of manual work has been reduced through SAP applications. So let us see and move on to collections management. So what is collections management? How is it useful? So mainly by listening to the word collections, what do you understand? So we are trying to collect the debts from the customer. So when we will collect the debts from the customers? When they are overdue. If there is still a due date, we will wait until the transaction or until it reaches to the outstanding amount reaches to the due date. So if customer is paying before the due date, definitely we are giving him some discounts. So the customers who are interested to pay in advance will pay and avail the discounts. So the persons who are overdue, the customers who are overdue, for them the collections department should pitch in and they have to collect the amounts. So let us see what actually the collections management module mainly functions. So let us see like application. It's an application for proactive receivables management. Proactively we need to follow up the customers. So if we repeatedly contacting the customers, the customers who are even not interested to pay, at least they will try to pay because of the pressure given by the collections department. So and even SAP collections management allows managing individual AR accounts. So each and every customer account is being checked whether they are paying the debts in the due date or already the due date, means like already the amounts are overdue and this is the time where the collection departments needs to pitch in. So each and every AR account will be monitored. It allows AR clerks to prioritize their dunning on key customers and deals with case when the bulk dunning is not efficient enough. So normally whenever there are overdue items, they will be sending the dunning letters or generating the dunning letters in bulk, and they will be issuing those dunning letters to the overdue customers. But still, if they are not responding to those dunning letters, then we have to take action individually. SAP Collections Management identifies the bad payers and automatically add them to the clerk work items with list of relevant actions to take. So what does collections management will do? It will identify the bad payers and it will automatically add to the clerk list to have follow-up actions. The first step, having all required information from SAP Collections Management, the clerk tries to contact the customer. So with the initial information it has from the collection management, the clerk will try to contact the customer. And what is the second step? The clerk logs the customer promise to pay, which can be monitored in SAP Collections Management. So he will contact the customer and customer will say this is the date I will pay. So he will raise a promise to pay. With the discussion happened. So in other case, clerk can log a dispute case into the SAP dispute management. If okay, the clerk will contact the customer. The customer will say because of this reason I have not paid the amount. So I have a problem. I have some dispute with the amount which was already invoiced. So they will raise a dispute case. There will be many reasons. Based on the reason, they will raise a dispute case, and particular department will look after into that case. It proves to be very helpful for AR clerks to prioritize work lists of key customer accounts that needed action. So with this, with the help of collections management, clerks can prioritize their work lists. It also offers discounts with enhanced intelligence and retains the best of the players. So we know, like whenever there is a overdue, sometimes to collect those amounts, the organizations will provide some discounts. Okay, if you are going to pay immediately, we will be providing you the 5% discount, 10% discount. So they don't want the amount to get into bad debts. So they will provide some discounts to the customers and try to collect that amount as soon as possible. Application is based on the collection strategy for customers. So there are many configuration steps and different rules or logics how this collection management will work. So enables AR clerks to log the customers to pay or a dispute case. We already discussed this. In case the clerk becomes unable to contact the customer or customer wants a callback, he can opt for the resubmission. Again they will resubmit that. After a clerk takes a necessary action, so what will happen? If it say that this is completed, then that work list is automatically deleted from the clerk's work list. SAP Collection Management monitors continually on whether the customer keeps their promise to pay or not. So we have discussed with the customer. Customer said on this particular date I am promising to pay. So again they need to have a follow-up call. So if paid, that is okay. If not, they put the related data in the work list again they have to follow. So this is the collections management. Let us move on to other one, dispute management. So in the before slide, like in collection management, we have discussed two words. When the clerk contact the customer, he will raise a promise to pay or a dispute case. So the dispute case thing is related to dispute management. So this application helps in efficiently processing of receivables related dispute cases. Dispute cases are handled by dispute management. So once the dispute case is raised, there is no the job of collection departments is ended and the job of dispute management team gets started. SAP dispute management adds a new credit control clerk in order to reduce the time consumed in dispute management. It helps indeed to collect cash from customer faster. The SAP dispute management process can be summarized. So, what is the process? So, they have to reduce the time in dispute management, or otherwise it will keep on adding the days and the payment will get delayed. So, let us see what are the steps. Create a new dispute case related and attach this case to the open items on a document. So once the dispute case is created, it will be automatically linked to the open item of that particular document. So depending on tasks, assign roles to the dispute case. So there will be different reasons. For each reason there will be different roles. So if there is, he is asking for more discount, so there is a particular team related to that a department, so they will assign the person who has that role, so that particular department can solve this. So there are different kinds of roles, each role having different tasks. So manager will have different tasks, or there will be different roles so in the organization. So he will tell I need more discount, or I will tell the product is in defect, or he will say the product is the product quality is not good. So the tasks can include, for example, question, enhance information, comment, something. So dispute cases are now classified by processing status and the reason. So the dispute cases, how it will be classified? So what is the status of that? So whether it needs to move to next level, or what is the particular reason for the dispute case? So they can classify the dispute cases according to the reason and also the processing status. If actions must be taken to resolve the dispute can be marked for follow-up. If no agreement found for the dispute, the case may escalate to next management level. So focuses to reduce the total time taken to resolve disputes between companies and their customers. It is often witnessed that there is steep reduction of around 50% of time consumption for resolving cases. Because of this process, we can say that there is a 50% of reduction in time consumption in resolving these cases. So create new dispute case from the list of open items or in particular transactions. Assignment of roles to the dispute cases, allocating different tasks. On the basis of processing status and reason of dispute, cases are classified and managed. Enables attachment of important documents to the case. Even we will attach important documents to that particular case which we have received. Cases has the access to be escalated to the higher management level in case any action is traced not carried out. Cases may be flagged to be followed up. So these are all the many steps which they follow in dispute management. This kind of functionality will be done in dispute management. So what are all will be done? So how this will be configured and how this will be handled? So let us move on to SAP cash and liquidity management. So mainly I heard this is used for reporting purpose. So it is a complete forecast on working capital on ad hoc basis, like cash in hand, how much cash is there in the hand, how we have to liquidate the cash, and what is the future requirement of the cash. All these cash related things will be managed in this module. Cash management is a key function in every organization for it to function efficiently. In a broader sense, maintaining appropriate bank accounts, collecting the receivables in time, and planning and release of cash for payables in a timely manner are all part of cash management function. In many unoptimized organizations, tools such as spreadsheets are extensively used to perform cash management functions. SAP has built an integrated treasury and cash management solution on the S/4HANA platform. So it has integrated the treasury and also the cash management. So SAP cash management consists of three components, namely bank account management, cash operations, and liquidity management. So in bank account management, it handles the bank master data creation, approval, payments, and bank statement upload, download operations. All bank related things will be handled in bank account management. Cash operations. Cash operations consists of day-to-day management of cash inflow, outflows, overseeing bank risks, and approving and monitoring payments. Means they will monitor how much cash is there. So for next day, how much cash is required, what are the payments we have to do, and all these things they will monitor. This is typically management of cash availability now and the following weeks. Liquidity management, on other hand, is complete management of funds for the medium term until the end of the year. So all these things will be managed in cash and liquidity management. So now let us move on to treasury and risk management. So what actually is treasury and risk management? So is saying that SAP market, we always hear treasury has good jobs or something about treasury, right? So first let us know what actually it is for. So SAP Treasury and Risk Management is an integrated solution in which the various components are closely linked. The financial transactions managed in the transaction manager can be evaluated and monitored using the analyzer components. In addition to the treasury and risk management analyzer components, market risk analyzer, portfolio analyzer and credit risk analyzer, the transaction manager is also linked to SAP cash management. So by reading this, do you understand anything? If we don't have any knowledge in what actually the treasury and risk management is, definitely we don't understand. So in brief, what I understood is risk management. Risk management, mainly we hear this word in stock market when trading, when people are doing trading, they always highlight maintain proper risk management. So this should be your capital and this should be the percentage of risk you can bear, something kind of that. So even what I understood is the treasury. If we see this, mainly the treasury and risk management deals with money market, securities, forex, derivatives. All these things are managed in transaction manager. And here credit risk analyzer, market risk analyzer, portfolio analyzer. So these are all related to financial markets. And these all are linked to cash management, in-house cash management, liquid planner. So even I am interested in doing some research on this treasury and risk management. So what I understood is mainly the treasury and risk management works on money market, like dealing with shares, securities and how it finance and what is the foreign exchange rates and derivatives. And even I get this from SAP help this. So actually I thought of explaining in my own words, but I felt some difficulty how to explain this. So it made me mandatory to keep this slide here. So just I can show how actually it works. So even I am trying to explain in more detail about treasury and risk management further in my videos. Let us see and let us learn something more on this module. Let us move on to in-house cash. So SAP in-house cash. SAP in-house cash is used for processing internal and external payment transactions within a group or company. So by using SAP in-house cash, you can reduce the number of external bank accounts you hold and the volume of foreign payments you have to make. So if you are managing in-house cash, so it is explaining that whatever the external accounts you have and whatever the volume of foreign payments transactions you have to make, you can reduce the number. How we can reduce the number? So this in-house cache is implemented at a central location. So what we do, even though normally we will be telling these are all the branches, but there will be a main branch for that particular bank. So what this in-house cache will do is, instead of making payments to each and every bank, all the payments are collated and will be made in one particular bank. For example, in the head office. With SAP in-house cache, you can process the following transactions. What are those? Those are internal payments, central payments, local payments, central incoming payments. So to explain each and every point, even I am not sure, like what do I understand is, instead of having accounts in each and every branch, they can have an account in the head means like main branch, and all the transactions related to these sub branches can be dealt with the main branch. So they can reduce the transactions and also the foreign payments which they have to do. You can reduce the external bank accounts you hold and volume of you have foreign payments you have to make. With in-house banking, one of the group companies, usually the parent company or a financing company, will be in charge of cash flows. So okay, even in company we have many branches, and that's what we discussed. Only the main our parent company will take care of all the payments within the others, constituting an in-house bank. The remaining companies will be assigned virtual current accounts at the in-house bank. So only the main company and main bank will be doing the transactions, and all others will be actually watching it. Assigned virtual current account, just they can watch whether the payments, whether my payment is done, or another subsidiary company will check whether my payment is done, something kind of that. So for that, this in-house cache will be useful. Let us check the treasury and risk management, in-house cache, and even bank communication management. I am trying to check whether I can show the configuration and how does it works. Let us see in our further videos what we can for which modules we can do the configuration, and how we can proceed further. So for now we check what actually the bank communication management. So bank communication management is used for managing multiple bank communication interfaces, enabling you to connect to your bank, track the entire payment life cycle of an transaction, and improve straight through processing rates and internal compliance. Do you understand? So is you multi-bank communication interfaces enabling you to connect to your bank. So if we have a payment done, we need to know the status of it. So if we in this module, what will happen is, At each and every stage you can monitor the payment life cycle. Okay, so now what is the status of my payment? In our next 4 hours, what is the status of my payment? So when it will be paid or when it will be collected. So this module helps in monitoring the payment life cycle and what are all the things got rejected, what is the status of this, so when it will be paid. So each and every what is the step will be monitored. Bank communication management is also responsible for the creation and approval of batches, the payment status monitor and the bank statement monitor. With bank communication management, the payments in one or several payment runs can be presented and processed in a payment status monitor. So in payments or several payment runs. So you can check in the payment status monitor. This monitor also serves as a repository for incoming status messages from SWIFT and from individual banks. The payments in the payment run can be grouped to one or several batches according to your needs. Payments in the payment can be grouped to one or several batches according to, for example, payments can be grouped according to low value and high value payments. You can also use digital signatures to approve, reject or resubmit payments. So many things are happening related to bank communication. So single batch, multiple batches, approving, rejecting, again resubmitting the payment, what is the status of the payment. So till we start making the payment and till it reaches to the vendor, everything will be monitored in this bank communication management. So let us see in our further videos what are all the things we can cover in these FSCM modules. So thanks for watching.